Welcome to the first ever Milk and Honey Daily DeFi Chat. I'm imvi, one of the founders, joined by Xavier, one of our other OG founders. Today we will be talking about the massive haircut the market took and the outlook of DeFi as a whole heading into the second half of 2020. Something I personally found pretty interesting with this whole deal is I've seen Crow get hit not as hard. Not Crow itself, like the coin, but Kronos Network. For whatever reason, I've seen a lot of those meme tokens. They're falling 5, 10%. They're not getting these cross the board BSC 20, 30% haircuts, Ethereum 20, 30% haircuts. So, what I've been doing kind of to just hedge against this is I've been looking at Kronos plays. Kronos meme tokens are pretty hot. And the reason I think, going forward, Xavier, this podcast is going to be beneficial to everyone is we spend truly 8 hours a day, every single day, on the phone or working with developers or developing stuff ourselves or working on the marketing side of stuff. So
if not more too. Yeah.
yeah, so we kind of have a pretty good understanding of what's hot and what's not, I guess, out there. And it's not as big of a world as people think either. There's 1.5 million Twitter influencers who will charge you $300, and quite literally you'll get zero ROI on it. There's a bunch of those guys. There's a bunch of Telegram dudes that'll do the same thing, and that's just the game itself. But as far as knowing what works and what doesn't, we've been through all those pitfalls.
There's a lot of smoke and
Yeah.
mirrors out there. You just got to blow away that smoke and get down to like the facts, the concrete facts.
Yeah, and really, guys, if you're, I'll be straight up and say this here. We're probably going to curse. We're probably going to offend a couple people. We're not doing this to offend anybody if we say anything. We're just telling it how it is, how we see it here. We're not going to hide anything. If you're listening, in Canada or the US or a Western country, you got to understand when you're playing these markets like BSC specifically, you're dealing with a lot of foreign money. Everyone calls these people Jeets, short for Pajit, which is like a slang term for an Indian, whoever doesn't know. But a lot of this money that is flowing into these markets isn't what people are used to in a traditional sense. It's not a bunch of middle class guys with a couple grand throwing $500 in a play, $500 in a play here. I mean, we have that, obviously, the one BNB, two BNB guys. There's a lot of them, but the majority of this money heading into these like BSC markets, Kronos markets right now is the $20 guys, is the zero point 0.1 BNB, 0.05 BNB people. And I don't know if everybody out there, even I guess like these influencers I'm talking about, recognize that. I know that you spend basically all day, Xavier, talking to these fools. Is there any I guess if someone's getting into this game, is there any advice you can give them as far as how to utilize knowing that information?
Yeah, I would say like the best advice I could give right now is don't let yourself be influenced by basically the influencers. So you got to understand that if you talk to people who have experience marketing in the stock market, anything like that, this is a totally different beast over here in crypto. And you're really seeing uh, perception rule the day, is when you get millions of people and they might only be $10, $20 buyers, but when you control the sentiment of millions of people, that's where you see these coins just for days and days and days on end. They're just going up and up and up. You see the meme tokens, these meme everything. It's just they go crazy, and then vice versa. When these people get spooked, they everyone in India, it spreads fast. So the best thing I could offer right now is you definitely want to be on top. You want to know what you're doing. You want to be able to explain it. And you want to basically push away anything anyone else is going to tell you because I'm sorry to say, but like a lot of people out there who are quote unquote experts, they have no idea what they're doing in crypto.
Yeah. And just to give you guys a little bit of background, you know, myself and Xavier, we both came from a more traditional market sense. So we're not no slugs when it comes to understanding how markets work before we even jumped into the DeFi game. And for every term over here, there's an equal term over there. That means the exact same thing. When we're talking about supply over here in tokenomics, it's share structure over there as far as equities go. So, and the reason I'm saying this is basically what we're seeing is the same, for lack of a better term, gimmicks or like scams pop up, in these markets. It's something that's been done for years and years successfully that isn't having as much success anymore because it's kind of worn out. Now there's an opportunity those people can tokenize that idea and kind of continue to run this deal, and it's in their where they're standing, it's even more beneficial because, again, to go back to where this money's coming from, and I'll reiterate, I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but you're dealing with third world country money in mass, millions
Yeah.
of people at $10. uh so as far as how spread out the money is, I'd rather have a million people with $10 than one guy with $1,000,000 any day of the week.
Of course. Yeah. I would agree.
So yeah, so when these guys take their gimmicks that have been working in traditional markets and tokenize it over here, something interesting happens. You have basically the perfect storm of the money spread out between more people, which not only builds the network to further push it, but it also kind of takes a lot of that pressure away from the guy running the gimmick, because now he doesn't have to deal with one or two guys, three guys, four guys, even 20 guys who control X amount of the whole supply or X amount of the whole project. Now he's got to deal with, one chat room where you can get in there once a day, twice a day, do an AMA or something. So you're seeing a ton of the stuff that worked before come over here, be tokenized, and work even better. And yeah, we're like 10, 12, 13% across the board today on all major coins and tokens, but we've been through this before.
It's part of the growing process.
It's exactly, and I think there's just too much opportunity with what I just described, even though it is a little bit I guess you could say like it is a little bit looked down upon if you're a good person or whatever, but that's inevitable. That's going to come over here, and that's going to continue to push over into the DeFi market, regardless of if the price of Bitcoin's 27K or 45 plus K. It's they're going to continue to come over here. It makes too much sense for them.
It's what's working for them. So why would if it's working, why would you ever change it?
And it's just so crazy because, like, all the reasons I love DeFi are, of course, all the reasons why it should be regulated. I'm aware of this, but I'm anti-regulation down to the core. So I think none is better than some type deal. But think about it. These guys who we're talking about, hypothetically, have been playing a game with restrictions built around them like a maze. And now they get to come over here and they
got free reign.
Nothing, and everyone,
yeah.
exactly. And everyone's talking, it's coming down the pipeline in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years. I don't know how they're going to do it when they do it. I just don't know what that would look like, because if you're into DeFi, there is being anonymous is a huge, factor in this game. Not just if you're like a dev or if you're, a whale and you want to stay hidden, but I mean, that's kind of why this was designed. Anyone who uses like, BSC scan, S scan, and I know there's some black hat guys out there that might know some dark shit. But it's, what do you, if it gets to the point where they have to present evidence in court, what are you going to do with that BSC scan? Especially if like some guy's using like, a new wallet every transaction or every couple transactions. Like, what are you going to do with that? They got the printouts of that. Like,
yeah, you
prove
got
that
50
guy
numbers
is that
and letters
guy
on a piece of paper.
Yeah, and prove any of it is has ownership, directed to anybody. Like I guess I could see a case if you're turning it into cash, you get it out in a central exchange. But I mean, again, if you're doing those like wallet rotation deals, it just looks like money's coming in from different places. And prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that that money was, gained through illicit ways. And good
There's
luck
not
building
enough
a case
money or
on that.
time in the world for them to figure that out. That's the issue.
Yeah, especially when you're dealing with, again, I like to add, cross border type stuff. We're dealing with international stuff with this market. Like I'm in the US, you're in the US, but if there's a guy in uh like Little St. James Island or some shit running
Yeah, what do
scams,
you do? Like,
what do you
where does
fucking
he
do?
go to like present like the evidence? Who's gonna take it?
I mean, like, that's the whole thing. So there's just so many ways where people are like, it's coming down the pipeline. Sure. Okay. Yes, I get it. I agree in some form, but how do they even apply it? Like, I don't understand the mechanism to apply it unless they go, okay, DeFi's ban, crypto's ban. And I don't know how they could do the crypto's ban deal at this point when you
It's
have,
gonna be so utilized. How do
well,
you
I mean,
ban
you
it?
have like crypto.com, bro, that, bought the Staples Center rights, is the largest UFC sponsor. You have like these major, which of course you don't get that big without like lobbying and rubbing
Oh,
shoulders with people.
you have to have serious
So they
influence
already,
there.
exact. So they're
You're in
already in
LA,
bed. Yeah, they're already in bed. So why would they? Now you have a whole elite class that's involved in this. So I don't see it going anywhere personally. It's not gonna go anywhere. It's just gonna be more utilized. But I don't see how what regulation would even look like
Well,
on
what's
a
the
DeFi
selling
level.
point? Yeah, what's the selling point for them going to be? They're going to say, let's all go back to just using the USD, which is
Well,
getting inflated
yeah,
out of control.
yeah,
Everyone's trying to get away from it. So, I mean, how are you
yeah.
going to motivate people to just drop DeFi, drop crypto overnight? It's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's impossible. And I really can't think of it because I could do the whole totalitarian like government. Okay, you know what they say enough is enough. China plug pulls crypto. They've said they've plug pulled it like 150 times, and somehow I'm still talking to Chinese people who want me to send them BNB. So it makes no sense. But
I'm in a Telegram room right now. There's
with all China,
10,000
yeah, it's
Chinese
like
people.
half of fucking BSC's Chinese, and it's banned in China 80 times. It makes no sense. Uh, anyway, to get back on point though, I mean, even if the biggest totalitarian government said enough is enough and plug bold for real, let's take China for example. What does that look like? Does that mean BSC scan with contracts you can interact with go offline? Does that mean bscscan.com is not accessible? Or let's take something without privatized nodes. Let's take Ethereum, for example. I guess BSC wasn't the best example to use, but let's take Ethereum. What are you going to do? You can interact with the contracts direct, some of these on Fscan. Like
Yeah.
what are you going to do to stop this? It's like not possible. You'd have to take out global infrastructure, like little cells of people who have nodes and stuff. It makes no sense.
And where is the funding and everything going to come for that?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, the
just an
whole global
impossibility.
financial system is collapsing
Yeah, it's a
in front of
logistics
our eyes. So
impossibility.
the fact, yeah, go ahead.
No, no, I'm just saying. I want you to go into it. Like, no one's falling for this shit anymore. Like everyone sees what's. At least I can only speak for the U.S. I get we have probably gonna have people listening around the world, but as far as like the U.S. goes, like Western country, no one's falling for this shit anymore. Like no one.
No.
A year ago, people, were optimistic for some reason, the majority, but everyone knows they're being screwed now.
You can't hide it. Every week I see changes in prices. Every week.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I'm a $5 a galloner right now for like the past 2 months.
I'm
Which is
at like
crazy because
475.
because it was 2 years ago. I remember it being under $3. I remember it being like 289 where I was.
Bro, it went down to $1.97 here. $1.97.
Jesus. Yeah, no, it was low like that before. Yeah, no, I mean, and
That was
okay,
the
I know
lowest
this
I've filled
isn't
up
like,
over the past 3-4 years. Was $1.97 here.
I know this isn't DeFi talk, but like I'll just go on it for a second, guys. If you want to like go look at the cost per barrel and then like the cost per gallon at the pump and compare the two, uh, we ain't having trouble getting oil. We ain't paying more per barrel. They're just gouging the fuck out of us. And you can go look that up. And that like just started. Usually it was, they had their margin they made or whatever. You can check these charts. They're out there, price per gallon at pump versus cost per barrel. Like you can look at this. They're fucking us so bad. And it's like they turned it on even more recently. It's wild.
Yeah.
So that leads us right back into DeFi. Perfect. It always circles right back into, DeFi's the way. What was the other thing we were supposed to talk about? There was two things. We're going to keep this pretty short, guys, because we're going to do one every day to just kind of talk about the day or kind of this BS that we talk about. I think there's the reason we're doing this, obviously, is to build the community. We've had people ask, but it's also because 99% of the people on like YouTube that do these things,
They don't know
I
what they're
truly,
doing.
I truly believe after like paying, like YouTube influencers, and I've dished out a lot of money to these guys, like different people. I've tried a lot. Up Next Crypto is the biggest fucking scam in the game. Quote me on that shit. Those two Arab guys are fucking scammers. Stay away from them. But I've paid out. I've paid out to a lot of these guys. Zero ROI, and I swear to God, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
I'm
they
sorry, but
genuinely don't understand what the fuck DeFi is. We've
if
had to
you
help these
have a
motherfuckers set up wallets.
cryptocurrency, I'm sorry, if you have a cryptocurrency dash DeFi YouTube channel and you're posting content basically every single day, why are you coming to me asking I don't understand how to use the BSC network? Can I just send you my BNB back on the Ethereum chain? Like you have to have an understanding of what like the simple networks are. Because that
Oh
to
yeah.
me was just mind blowing. You're out there creating content for crypto and DeFi, and you don't even know what BSC is. You don't even know how to do transactions. So that's really what like made Umvi and I just go like, you know what, we got to get a podcast going. We got to get our community like, you know, fired up for like learning about crypto and DeFi. You know, the facts, the truth.
Yeah, and we'll keep it real. It not only do something that myself, Xavier has, and the people we'll have on here periodically that I can guarantee you no other YouTube channel, no other podcast has, is the fact we're literally talking to developers of like meme tokens and utility tokens as well. We're talking to developers of DAOs. We're talking to developers of like farming, pooling type operations, even mining type operations now. And we're really good friends with a lot of the call room guys, like
Yeah.
we're close with like Cowboy Calls. We're close with Drew. We're close with trying to think of another big one, Gumball. Like we know a lot of these guys. We talk to devs of market cap tokens that are 20, 30 million. We talk to these guys on a daily basis, and we have been for about a year and a half pretty consistently. They talk to us, and our conversations sound a lot like what you're hearing right now. It's just us figuring out, hey, next week, what's going to be the next hottest thing? Is it going to be BSC next week? Is it going to be Kronos next week? I want to launch a meme coin. What chain is the hottest next month? These are actually, when you break it down, the things that people talk about on ground level. And I think the things that people are listening to this know and want to hear. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of our listeners, once we get built up, are probably going to be familiar with these names, maybe even be in these call rooms, So we're open. There's some things we can't say. because they don't want us to. It's not like it's international secrets or anything, but you know, it's coming events. They want to keep it on the down low. But everything else, as far as like operational, how things move, what's looking hot, what's not looking hot, this guy's out there scamming, this guy's out there making a name for itself. That's kind of what this is about. We want to talk about that nitty gritty stuff.
And knowing and understanding a lot of that nitty gritty stuff is going to relieve a lot of anxiety and stress that probably a lot of our listeners are going to have, you know, because if you just open up Twitter, Telegram, whatever you use to keep track of the crypto markets, it can be scary, you know, if you're not in the know, if you don't know, you know, if you don't have a way to break down what is happening, you know, in real time. So that's going to be a powerful tool going forward for the whole community, in
Yeah,
my
and
opinion.
especially if you're doing like guys, if you're doing meme coin or like altcoin, shitcoin, whatever you want to call it, regardless if it's an Ethereum, if it's BSC, Kronos, whatever, realize what the fuck you're getting into. You know, like I know you've probably heard the same speech a million times, but I can truly say I've seen thousands of launches between all different chains, even Polygon, you know, even one off like RTM, Dream Chain, like a new one out there. I've seen launches on just new chains, very established chains. Guys, it's a fucking winning the lottery if that thing's around in 90 days. Not a year. If it's around in 90 days, it's like winning the lottery. And that doesn't even mean you're up on your position. That just means there's still volume going through the contract after 90 days. It's like winning the lottery. So, you know, if you're involved in these things, you're involved in launches, realize what you're getting into. I'm not saying there isn't amazing opportunity out there. I'm involved in these. I like to get in on private sales. I like to get in on pre-sales. I like to get in on these things when it makes sense. But I know what game I'm playing. And you know, I really hope that message conveys to people listening.
You got to watch out for yourself, you know.
Yeah,
If you're up
exactly.
money, you know, it's never a bad idea to be like, let me get some of my initial like off the table because, you know, there's going to be a tomorrow, there's going to be a next week, there's going to be a next month, and you want to be around for every opportunity that's going to present itself. Because in crypto and DeFi, you know, there's going to be even in a bad day like today, there's going to be countless opportunities out there, and you want to be ready. You don't want to be bagged in, you know, one of these shitcoin meme tokens. You know, you just that's all I'm going to say about it. You know, got to watch out for yourself.
Yeah, you know, and there's in like you know, watching out for yourself. This doesn't mean like go out there, wake up with the mentality of I'm gonna get the money no matter what, even if I fuck people over. You know, there's a lot of those guys out there. We see that,
Yeah.
especially if you fuck with BSC, you see that. I mean, my God, it's like 9 out of 10 guys are like that. And then there's a right way to do it. You know, this is the thing. Projects fail for reasons other than rugs. You know, the term we
Yeah.
use to describe a failed project is a rug. But I've witnessed myself the best possible people, better people than me, developing things that blow me away. They have marketing set up perfect. They have everything set up perfect. Their launch fills immediately. They go to the moon. They do unbelievable trading. And then they're gone in a year. You know, they were that 1% that made it more than 3 months, but they're not around in a year. And that's the issue. Most companies, not just tokens or DeFi projects, but most companies in general don't last a year, you know? So if understand what you're doing, if DeFi wasn't around you and wanted to invest in startups, the chance of you having an ROI after a year is very, very minuscule. You add the anonymity aspect to it. You add the actual instead of private being a public type deal where there's trades to it and emotions get involved, and then you add time. It's very, very, very hard, traditional or DeFi. I think it's even harder DeFi to survive a year. Costs get higher over time. They don't get lower, and generally volume slows over time with projects. And everybody knows when volume slows, the development and marketing wallets, or whatever they're named, slow down. They don't fill up as fast. So when these guys are doing projects, they're experiencing lower tax income and higher cost as businesses as their business progresses. It takes a perfect magic timing, I think, has a lot to do with it. Luck has a portion to do with it. Hard work has the majority to do with it to get to a point where you can get past that dilemma. And again, you take any startup, whether it be restaurant, whether it be retail, whether it be online, whether it be DeFi, that's a dilemma they're going to have to deal with at some point, and very few make it past. Hello, hello. I think my mic cut out, guys. I apologize. But we again, we're gonna keep this short. I think we could probably do like a 3.5 hour one every day if we wanted. Just because we're on the phone all the time with people anyway, and this is kind of what we talk about. But I just want to I just want to ask you one thing, Xavier. I'm gonna give you the mic. Take your time. It's probably going to be a lengthy answer. Once you're done, I'll give my perspective, and then we'll wrap this thing up, and we'll be back tomorrow. But what do you think, man? Second half of 2022. What's it looking like?
It's I'm gonna be positive here. It's looking like a bright future to me here. It's really rough right now, but this honestly, this part of the market can be very rewarding if you're bullish or if you're a long-term investor, because you're going through adversity right now, and to do great things you're going to have to build that character. You're going to have to go through that adversity. So if you're able to, outslug like this decline we're in right now and kind of push away like the sentiment out there, I'm sure you got people in your ear left and right saying this is the end. Oh look, Peter Schiff, he just said Bitcoin's going to $700 for what, the thousandth time he said that now. So it takes a lot of courage and gut. It's a psychology thing too, to just kind of go against like what the herd is saying and go, no, like for these reasons, like look at the inflation out there, look at the global like economy, look at everything going on, and just go, the writing is on the wall. Like crypto is like, it's here to stay, it's here to grow, it's here to be adopted. The generations that are to come, they're only like look at the young generation now. They're basically like intertwined with their devices, their phones. Are you telling me they're gonna want to go to like the bank and get like cash out? No, they're gonna want to do crypto. They're gonna want instant transactions. They're gonna want all the benefits that crypto brings. So as humanity, goes on over the next 5, 10 years, you're gonna have that factor too. But if you can like outslug what's going on right now and just be like, you know what? I'm going to hold my bags. I'm going to add to my bags. This is my time to jump in. I think it's going to be heavily rewarded by the end of the year, because you see every October, November, December, that sentiment changes. It's going to happen again. It's not going anywhere. So I think if you can just hold on to yourself, hold on to your hat, like I said, ignore that psychology factor, be confident in what you believe, it's going to be rewarded. It's going to pay off big time.
Yeah, and just to add on to what you were saying, guys, this is a strategy that myself and Xavier both do during these like kind of brutal market downtrends. Obviously, I do this anyway. I think everyone should be kind of utilizing some form of staking or farming.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking about it on a passive term, consider single sided. If you do double sided, maybe you keep one of the sides of that liquidity pair a stable, like USDC, USDT, something like that. I know generally the rates aren't as good if you have it paired with a stable, but MMF, Mad Meerkat Finance, they're giving really good rates on liquidity pairs with one side being stable. Check them
There's a
out.
lot of ways. Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can navigate like a short-term decline like this. Like I know
Yeah,
you just brought
exactly.
up staking and everything. Yeah, there's a lot we're involved in that. I'm sure we can get into. on another episode too. But
Yeah, yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot you can
Let's
do
save that
that
for the next one.
you don't have to just be like, in the stock market, what are you going to do? You're going to have to either dump, ride it out, or whatever. In crypto, it's like you can either switch to a stable coin. You don't have to cash out. You can just switch to a stable coin, and then when you feel the time is right, the sentiment's changing, the chart is shaping up again, you just switch it back. You can do staking, you can do a whole lot of things, and it's like traditionally in the stock market, what are you going to do? You can't just be like, hey, I'm going to change my Apple shares into like Apple stable coin, and just avoid like a 20% decline over the next 3 months. It's just, there's so much opportunity out in crypto that once you have an understanding of it and know what to look for, it's going to take away more of the anxiety and more of the stress. You're going to look at a day like today where we're down like 13% on Binance coin, and you're going to be like, I'm cool. I've offset that whole loss by doing these other activities, that my position when the market goes back up, it's just going to grow that much more.
Yeah,
It's a
like
powerful tool, but I'll let you take it
yeah,
from there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll cut it off, but like we'll save. Actually, this is perfect. Tomorrow we'll talk about like strategies to hedge
Okay, yeah.
against
Yeah, it
downtrends. I
just
think
fit
we'll
in
save it
perfect.
for that. I think that's a cool episode. It kind of just planned itself. We'll just do that tomorrow. I will just add, guys. I'll go into it in detail tomorrow. But during these downtrends, if you are doing liquidity farming, keep in mind exactly how the mechanisms of that work. It's you get paid a percentage distributed to a pool based on transactions. So yeah, it's really shitty that BNB dumped out 13%, but how much volume do you think went through that? And I get the argument of, well, I'm earning in the token that's falling in volume. You're right, but that's assuming you're going to sell it right when you earn it. That goes back to the whole sell tops, don't sell bottoms type deal. So there's ways where you can kind of offset these things, and we'll go into really, really deep detail as far as like my strategy. Xavier will go into his tomorrow. I think that's a good way to leave it off. Is there anything
Yeah,
else you
and
want to say?
tomorrow we should get into our project, something we got going on too that I'm sure
Yeah,
you and
yeah,
your
yeah,
listeners will find very interesting.
yeah,
It
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
it goes right along to the topic we're talking about right now, so it'll be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep like I'll just end it by saying this. I think gaming, data, and finance in regards to DeFi are probably going to be the three standout areas that we see right away. Obviously, it's going to creep into everything else, but my focus and my kind of passion is on the finance side because that's where I came from, and I think Xavier feels the same way. So, as far as what we got going on, it kind of, at the end of the day, we're two guys on YouTube talking shit about the most scammy markets in the world. We'll continue to build our credibility slowly to the listeners over time, and just we will let you know that we are devs ourselves. We do work with other projects, and we do just various work in the DeFi area. So we're tuned in, but we want to. Sorry, I think I got a call
Yeah,
there
your
and
mic
it
cut off
kicked me
there.
out. My bad. Yeah, my bad. But anyway, I'll just wrap it up by saying, we want to give you guys what's going on in the streets. Eventually, we'll have guests on here. I'm sure we know a lot of guys who probably would like to come kick it, talk shit. They're devs of some pretty major coins. We might do AMAs. I don't know. We're going to keep it relaxed. This is kind of our end of the day, my end of the day. Talk about what I saw in the market, share it. Xavier do the same thing. We both probably will talk a little shit in between, but this is the Milk and Honey Club, guys, and this is our first DeFi talk. So if you're listening, thank you very much. Join us tomorrow. We're going to be consistent with this. We're going to be posting it on YouTube to start and in our various chats, and then I think we're going to actually go ahead and get on Spotify and Apple Music and figure all that shit out. But thanks again, guys. We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us in our chat. Thanks.